What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Casual Academy. My name is Nathan Karimi, and I'm joined, as always, by my cousin and co-host.
What's up, guys? I'm Kevin Zimbelman.
Tonight, welcome again to Casual Academy, the only MMA history podcast that reviews MMA history fight by fight. But tonight, on Modern Mondays, we review a different kind of history. History in the making. The Paramount era is set, and we are moving on to UFC 325. Last week, if you joined us, we saw Paddy Pimblett beat the absolute shit out of his ego. No, I'm kidding. No, we saw Justin Gaethje pretty definitively beat Paddy Pimblett, and we move right along to another banger of a card where Alexander Volkanovski defends not just Australia, not just the 145-pound title, but his honor against the most deserving challenger. The rematch. Diego Lopes. That's a joke because everyone knows this is the worst fucking possible. I mean, it's a great fight, but it did not need to happen. Volk just beat the fuck out of Diego 2 months ago. A year ago, probably.
Yeah, I think it was a year ago. 10 months ago, I believe, is what it was.
Yeah. Point being,
no, maybe a year.
With as many contenders as there are, it's no surprise to any fight fan that this is strictly a Paramount era decision. Diego's coming off a beautiful loss or a beautiful victory over Jean Silva, but there's plenty of other deserving contenders. So with that said, any thoughts on this before we jump in?
I think the UFC really are like, okay, Diego, you didn't get it done the first time, so here we go, try to do it again. And I'm really excited to see if it's going to be the same thing. I don't think it will be. I think it's going to be more competitive. But I'm very curious to see if there's going to be any switch of game plans or not, right? Because some could argue that Volk just dodged a lucky punch for 5 rounds, and if he's going to stand on the feet for 5 rounds again, what's going to happen? So I don't know. There's some other really good fights on this card too, and so me and Nathan are going to break it all down for you.
Cool. You want to start with Volk and Lopes, the main event?
Yeah, so the main event of UFC 325 is Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes. Volkanovski is a 155 favorite going into this fight. Diego Lopes is a 125 underdog. Volk's last 3 are he defeated Diego Lopes by unanimous decision. He lost to Ilia Topuria and he lost to Islam Makhachev, both by knockout. Diego Lopes' last 3 is a vicious finish over Jean Silva. He lost to Volk previously, and then he beat Brian Ortega by unanimous decision, though he did knock him out in the first round and wake him up in the same combination. But a table is set. How do you see this fight going?
Okay, so I think there's this huge X factor with Volk, which is like, where is he? How much does he care? All of those things. I don't think that there's any debate. I think a prime Alexander Volkanovski beats a prime Diego Lopes.
Absolutely.
Can we agree with that across the board? That said, Diego has said, by the way, I want to say this. Diego's victory over Brian Ortega, vicious. Vicious. He attacked him from the bell. I mean, the second that thing started, he's attacking him. Like Kevin said, he knocked him out. I mean, if he wouldn't have hit him again, it would have been over.
Yeah, he would have fell.
He knocked him out. Jean Silva is very aggressive. He couldn't match how aggressive Diego is. Diego's the man. Diego's a psychopath. Diego was a deer in the headlights for 4 out of 5 rounds in the last fight. If Diego improves that, he will catch Volk. And I don't know if you can tap Volk out, but he will catch Volk. And at the very least, it will be a closer war. I still think Volk's going to come out ahead.
How do you see Volk winning?
A gritty, bloody, split decision victory.
Wow.
I just think, that's what I think.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. In the first fight, Diego just couldn't find Volk.
Yeah.
And Volk's footwork was so good. But the thing is, I don't know if Diego really tried to adjust. It seems like he just followed him instead of cutting corners, cutting the cage. But Volk's footwork is so good, you can't do that. Now, Volk dodged that lucky punch from Diego for 5 rounds and was able to style on him. I mean, in the first fight, Volk outstruck Diego Lopes. He had 259 strikes thrown, 158 landed, to Diego Lopes 194 thrown, 63 landed.
Wow.
Huge differential in the striking and accuracy.
Especially the accuracy.
Here's what's scary, though, is can Volk have that same success? And
He's only getting older.
Exactly. And I honestly think he needs to, and this is going to sound crazy, I think Volk needs to wrestle Diego Lopes.
I don't disagree with that, dude. I think Volk is.
I think if he
You're right. He
mixes it up, it up even more, I don't think he can stand striking the whole time. I think Lopes will find the shot. Unfortunately, I want to see Volk mixing it up, taking Lopes down, really affecting that gas tank. And, I know Lopes is a wizard on the ground and he's so good, but Volkanovski escaped 2 deep submissions from Brian Ortega. I think he can stay safe against Lopes and make him work and accumulate damage and staying way more safe.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with that assessment across the board, which is why I think this may end up being like a pretty much of a war. Now, I will say this. Diego cracked Jean Silva with that spinning back elbow, forearm, whatever. Kind of used a little bit of Jean Silva's own weapons against him. And it was against the fence, and there was all that. Diego kind of overplants when he throws, and he throws his hook. It's like almost like that's the only punch he knows is a hook and like a fairly ineffective jab. I feel like when Diego throws, what makes Volk's footwork look so good is that you almost got to be right there in front of Diego for him to land, because he throws these absurdly tight mechanical hooks. And I did not see him fix that against Jean Silva. But I don't understand striking the way I understand grappling. So I'm sure there's a lot going on there that I'm not seeing. But in their first fight, Diego was timid. He was a straight deer in the headlights for a lot of that. And like you said, Volk styled on him. He had a little success, I think, in the 5th round. But if Diego is just more aggressive, I don't think Volk can knock him out. But I think Diego can knock him out, which is kind of the little thing I'm leaving off to the side, is that maybe Diego puts him out.
Yeah, you're totally right about Diego being timid for most of that fight. I would say is when he started to really put on the pressure in early in the 4th round and into the 5th, maybe mid to the 4th round, into the 5th round, he started to have a little success. And that's scary to imagine if Diego comes out with that mindset in the 1st round and walks Volk down like that. There is a real possibility he can put Volk out. Right.
But I also think Volk has the opportunity to adjust. And if Diego overcommits to that, then Volk could take him down.
That's how I see this fight going.
Him overcommitting and Volk taking him down.
Yes.
And Volk's good on the ground and he can avoid a lot of things. Okay, let's hear an official prediction.
Official prediction: Volk is doing really well and then just gets clean put out, and we'll say the 3rd.
I'm going to go Volk by a pretty close decision, maybe not a split decision. And I know that fucking Ariel Helwani has this whole thing about you can't predict split decisions. Yeah, but there's patterns that lead to split decisions. There's patterns of fights that lead to split decisions, and I can see that being one of these patterns. And we know that who do they want to win? They want Diego to win. They wouldn't have given this to him twice if they didn't want him to win.
Yeah, that's why I'm shocked when you said split decision and then you said Volk. Because if it's split, they're going to want Diego to win, so they're going to put him over. But
yeah. Well, and another thing is this, man, is I also think that there's an element of you can kind of trust your own scoring. And it's like if you and your 3 closest friends that watch the fights all have the same opinion, for example, Dominic Reyes and John Jones, does anyone really think Dominic Reyes lost that fight? Right. I think there needs to be a little room left for that where you're just like, look, I'm at least as much of an expert about the fights as these judges. At least.
Oh, some of these judges are terrible.
So in that regard, that's why I'm kind of saying split decision. But I think Volk, basically, let me rephrase, is going to win a very close fight. And if Volk beats Diego, Evloev, Jean Silva, and Lerone Murphy, he is the greatest of all time.
Oh, 100% agree. But
the greatest featherweight of all time.
I mean, damn near the greatest UFC fighter of all time.
Damn near, but certainly he passes Jose Aldo as the greatest featherweight of all time.
In my opinion, he already did, but here nor there.
Sure. It's here and there. Okay.
One last thing I do want to say about this fight is, do you think of the fact that it's in Sydney, Australia makes a difference?
Absolutely.
So you think Volk's going to be more charged up? Like, see, that's why I think it might work against him low key.
Less charged up and more like got good sleep. Like,
okay.
I mean, it makes a huge difference having to travel to fucking Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm happy to move on for this one. I don't love this fight just because I think Volk is like one of my most treasured fighters of all time. Like, I don't want to see this man get hurt ever again.
I agree.
It hurt to see him get put out by Ilya.
I agree. And Islam.
Okay, this fight.
Yeah, so the next fight on UFC 325, we have Dan Hooker, who recently got fucking annihilated by Arman Tsarukyan, and not including the broken nose he suffered at the weigh-ins by the headbutt.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he broke his nose. Yeah, he broke his nose.
Arman is such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You swear to God?
Yeah, it just came out today. He broke his nose. Anyway, so we have Dan Hooker, who's a 260 underdog, versus Benoît Saint-Denis, who's a 330 favorite. Hooker's last three was a sub loss to Arman Tsarukyan, a split decision win over Gamrot, and a split decision win over Jalen Turner. Benoît Saint-Denis' last three was a vicious knockout of Beneil Dariush.
I'd say that was the exact opposite of a vicious knockout. He poked him.
I guess you're right. I was just talking about it just took one.
Yeah.
But anyway, a quick knockout of Beneil Dariush, a victory over Mauricio Ruffy with a submission, and he also defeated Kyle Propelek, which I don't know who that is.
Kyle Propelek's that Canadian guy. I think this was a last-minute replacement.
Okay. And
maybe because Dariush was not available. Oh, no. Someone was not available.
So, yeah. BSD on a 3-fight finishing streak.
Oh, wow. Good point.
Yeah. And
Dan Hooker on a 3-fight split decision streak.
How do you see this fight going?
I think that there's some X factors where I don't know. I think that Dan Hooker could potentially be super compromised from that fight. And now what I'm learning is the broken nose, which bugs me so much to find that out. However, if Dan Hooker is Dan Hooker, I think this is a wash. I think he demolishes BSD. I think BSD is second only to Costa, the worst fighter to have ever had success. No, I'm kidding. I don't think BSD is good at all.
I think it's so funny because you're high on Patty, but you don't like BSD. I think BSD would destroy Patty Pimblett. But now I think
Hooker, I hope BSD wins and Patty fights him. I think Patty would fucking mop the floor with BSD.
I think Dan Hooker wins this fight, though. Yeah. I think we're gonna get one more for the lightweight old guard. Though Dan Hooker was recently into lightweight, wasn't he?
Dan Hooker's been a lightweight his whole career, and then he only went down to 45 for. Remember, he went down to 45, and when he was on a 19 fights, fucking losing.
Oh, okay. So yeah, one more for the old lightweight old guard. I think Dan Hooker is gonna outdog Benoît Saint-Denis. Benoît Saint-Denis gets hit a lot, and I think Hooker is just going to use his... again, I don't know. I wish I knew the reach differential right now. I know Benoît...
Seems like Hooker has a 9-inch reach advantage.
Seems like he got a good enough reach where he could hit him with the jab, and when, Benoît comes in, he could teep him, But... man, if BSD lands something, I am worried that Arman fight did substantial damage to Hooker's chin.
It's possible, even though I do think that man, I feel like that fight with Dustin Poirier, which to me is the greatest fight in UFC history. I've said that 1,000 times on this podcast. I feel like that fight set Dan Hooker back a lot because immediately after that, he got knocked out bad by Michael Chandler and then just started having really bad luck. But I think Dan Hooker is one of the elite guys that just never got to put it all together.
Yeah, agreed. Would I be surprised if BSD knocks him out quickly? No. Will I be surprised if Hooker knocks BSD out? Yes. But I think Dan Hooker...
You would be surprised if Dan put out BSD?
Yeah. I think I'd see Dan Hooker doing a unanimous decision.
I'll agree with you. That will be my official prediction as well. Dan Hooker, unanimous decision. Now, I do want to say real quick, I think that the state of being for Dan Hooker right now is going to be a huge X factor. If Dan Hooker is recovered, I don't think this is much of a fight. If he's not recovered, then it is a fight and probably one that he does not win.
Yeah, that Arman fight was very recently, dude. I feel like that was like, what, 5 months ago? 4 months ago?
No.
Longer?
Way less.
Oh, way less. Okay,
Oh,
so 3
yeah.
months maybe. Okay.
At most.
Okay.
At most. Let's look that up. At most.
Sure.
No, bro. November 22nd.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not even 2 months. I mean, it's 2 months.
So yeah, Hooker coming off of that brutal fight where Arman beat the shit out of him only 2-ish months ago, you know?
I wish there was like a formula for this because it's almost hard to predict. But, again, I'll stick with what I said. I still think Hooker's better, right? I think BSD's not good.
Man, after hearing, damn, it was really that recent,
November
the Arman
22nd.
fight? I'm going to switch and say BSD knockout.
Okay. Ooh.
The next fight on this card is a striker's delight. You know, we have Rafael Fiziev versus Mauricio Ruffy. Rafael Fiziev is a plus 100 underdog, and Ruffy is a minus 125 favorite. Almost a pick'em fight, really. Fiziev's last 3 is a unanimous decision win over Ignacio Bahamondes, and he lost to Justin Gaethje via unanimous decision. And he lost to Gamrot. I think that's more of a fluke injury, though. Gamrot says he's the one who caused the injury, but to me, I think that's a freak accident. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a freak accident. Mauricio,
throw that out. We should have found what was before that. I think before that was the loss to Justin.
Yeah. Ruffy's last 3 is a loss to Benoît Denis via submission, a knockout over King Green, spectacular knockout over King Green.
Yep. Arguably one of the best of last year. That was that spinning back kick against the fence.
Yeah. And then a knockout over James Lontop, which I also cannot tell you who that is off of reading that name. How do you see this fight going?
I think Fiziev puts on a clinic and beats the fuck out of Ruffy.
Striking?
Yeah, I'm not impressed with Ruffy.
Even striking?
Oh, Ruffy's got some really cool shit that he does. But guess who else has some really cool shit that he does?
Yeah.
I mean, Fiziev is one of the most fucking pretty strikers on the whole roster.
Yeah.
I think Fiziev beats him. I think Fiziev's more durable. I think Fiziev has better cardio. I think Fiziev is more well tested. I think Fiziev is still approaching his prime. I don't think he took enough damage against Gaethje that it matters, and I think that fight was long enough ago that it doesn't matter. I think Fiziev wins. In fact, I'm going to put a parlay on Fiziev and Hooker because they're both underdogs, and to me, they're both overdogs.
Yeah.
Shout out Mike Perry.
I see Fiziev winning this too, but I think he needs to shy away from the striking. And is an amazing striker Fiziev is. I do think Ruffy can find that shot. And if you remember, Fiziev busted out his wrestling. He'd never seen it before against Ignacio Bahamondes.
And Gaethje.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And Gaethje.
Not a whole lot of it, yeah. And you know what? And I'm also very encouraged that he beat Ignacio Bahamondes because I think Ignacio Bahamondes is pretty good. According to Blal, he's the greatest striker of all time. And I think that's an encouraging win.
Yeah, Fiziev was 4-4 for his takedowns on Bahamondes. And we've seen Ruffy against grappling opponents. We've seen his cardio, and it's not good at all. Am I impressed with a Bobby Green knockout? Not really. Do I know who James Lontop is?
Ruffy has like the equivalent that you were talking about Patty, except for like 10 times worse. Like,
well, Patty to Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson, and fucking Bobby Green,
yeah.
right? So I don't know.
Yeah, so 66.7% worse.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting how people are really writing Fiziev off on this because
Oh, they are?
I mean, he's the fucking underdog.
Barely though. This is a pick 'em. I mean,
But if it's me, I'm picking Fiziev as like a 200 favorite. I could be wrong, you know.
Fiziev's not a 200 favorite.
No. I'm saying like if I had to imagine what the odds would be.
Oh, you would. I see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. I this to me seems like a mismatch almost.
Yeah.
A good fight. Great
fight.
But
would you be surprised if Hoofy puts him out?
no, of course not. I think
Right.
that's always an option. And I think Hoofy's one of these style guys. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I just don't really get the comparisons to Conor McGregor and all that. I just don't see him as like,
Fuck no.
no. He's like a fun, you know who like,
You know what his nickname is?
What?
One shot. And so that's kind of what his whole thing is he'll hit you with one big shot. But like, what's in between that?
Fiziev has good eyes though, dude. Fiziev's like, and he does
that Matrix shit. Yeah, it's fire. Yeah, we both got Fiziev on this one.
Oh, buddy.
The next fight on this is another striker's delight, I guess. We have a Thai Bam Bam Tuivasa making his return to the octagon after going 0-5.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, versus Tallison Teixeira. Thai Tuivasa is a 240 underdog, and Tallison Teixeira is a -300 favorite. Thai's last three is a split decision loss to Jairzinho Rozenstruik, who is not in the UFC anymore. A submission loss to Marcin Tybura and a submission loss to Alexander Volkov. I will say against Tallison Teixeira, he has no worries about being submitted in this fight. Tallison Teixeira's last three is he lost to Derek Lewis. I believe that was in St. Louis, wasn't it?
It very well might have been.
I think it was. A victory over...
I was at that.
Yeah. A victory over Justin Tafa and a victory over Lopes, and I'm trying to remember which Lopes that is.
Clearly, it doesn't matter if you don't remember. I mean, Tallison Teixeira, these are like, I think that was a Dana White Contender Series victory.
Oh, okay.
I'm almost going to skip saying anything about this fight because there's just no fucking way of knowing anything about Tai Tuivasa. We haven't seen him in fucking 3 years.
And so you think that could be a good thing?
For who?
Tai Tuivasa?
No.
That's what I'm saying. So I think instead of saying I have nothing to say, I think this is going to be a wash. I think Tai Tuivasa is coming out going 0-5, coming off a long layoff where he looked bigger than he ever did in his life.
But have you seen him recently?
Uh-uh.
He's fitter than he's ever been.
So was Derek Lewis, man.
No. Actually.
Okay.
He's got like a straight six-pack almost.
You bullshit.
Kind of.
If that's the case, then 240 favorites, big money. But I think Tallison Teixeira I think people think this is going to be a banger knockout. I think this is going to be a slow heavyweight fight that goes to unanimous decision.
If it ends up being a slow heavyweight fight, then I could see Tai Tuivasa taking it with a knockout because, Bam Bam likes the Bam Bam. I just watched Tai Tuivasa put out fucking Greg Hardy today.
How many years ago was that?
Oh, I just randomly, I'm not even bringing it up as relevant. I'm just saying I randomly watched it and he's like, I'm not the guy to bang with. Pick a different bloke.
Yeah, well, this is Tai Tuivasa's last fight, 100%. I mean, he's going to do his send-off in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, good for him, man.
Good for him, but I don't see this going his way.
But in all fairness, it is a winnable fight for him. Like, if
he
has anything left, it is winnable for him because Tallison Teixeira is, I mean, I thought the Derek Lewis stoppage was early.
It was. It was, but I'm not impressed with Teixeira. I would not put this in any parlays.
By the way, my official prediction is a Fiziev unanimous decision. Did you make yours?
I'll say Fiziev unanimous decision as
What's your
well.
official prediction for Tuivasa Teixeira?
Teixeira unanimous decision.
I'm going to go Tai Tuivasa knockout for the same reason I went for a Derek Lewis knockout last time. Just kind of hoping for it.
We would love to see it. Speak it to existence.
I love Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, he's the man.
By the way, on a podcast the other day, someone referred to him as the modern Tank Abbott. I love that.
I guess. And to open up this main card, we have Quillan Salkilld? Is that how you say his name?
Salkilld. I think you spelled that wrong.
Okay, Salkilld versus Jamie Mullarkey.
Yeah.
Quillan is a huge favorite. 850 favorites, so there's no money in this one. And he's going up against Jamie Mullarkey, a plus 500 underdog. Quillan's last 3 is a head kick knockout of Nasrat Haqparast.
One of the worst ever.
Yeah.
One of the worst ever, right?
What do you mean?
That Nasrat was dead. I really thought, like, there's been a few times in my life that I was worried someone was like maybe dead or severely injured. Chuck Liddell getting knocked out by Rashad, and quite frankly, Quillan Salkilld knocking out Nasrat Haqparast.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. And then he also has a unanimous decision victory over Yanal Ashmuz and Anshul Jubilee knockout over him. Jamie Mullarkey's last 3 is a win over Rolando Bedoya, unanimous decision, a loss to Ruffy, he got knocked out, and another loss to Nasrat Haqparast. I mean, I'm seeing right here, Jamie lost to Nasrat by KO. Quillan beat Nasrat by KO.
Yeah, I think Quillan Salkilld wins. I think this kid, I think they're trying to kind of make a push for him.
100%.
I also think that anyone that loses to Nasrat Haqparast, I am just not even slightly in the least bit impressed with Nasrat Haqparast.
Oh, I mean, as you should be. I think that's the general consensus.
Yeah, I just feel like he's got pillow hands, even though I feel like he put someone out. Oh, yeah, Jamie Mullarkey.
But yeah, Quillan, you think a first round KO or what?
No, I don't have like a read on it to say anything like that, but I'll go Quillan Salkilld by knockout.
Same.
So, yeah, what else we got?
I think that's the whole card, the whole main card right there.
Cool, man. Yeah, this card feels like another card. You know, they're clearly front loading this. There's a couple things at play. The White House, they're trying to kind of avoid anyone getting hurt that can potentially be on the White House. Justin Gaethje, I think, is eligible for the White House because it's not for 6 months. He might take that time off. Patty is eligible, even though he's probably not going to be there anymore. I feel like these 2 cards were of very little consequence. They are almost just like helping options be on the table. Like, hey, if someone happens to come out of this like extraordinarily well, we'll do something with them. But we don't, these guys are just here to have fun.
Yeah, another thing they did, which I hope this is not a continuing pattern into the year, is they just loaded both these cards up with strikers. I love strikers. I think it's great. But I just want to see the best fight the best.
Period.
And we haven't really got that in these 2 cards, though very fun matchups. You know, I'm not going to sit here and talk shit on Gaethje and Pimblett because that was such a fun fight. Mm-hmm. Same thing with Fiziev and Ruffy. I mean, that's going to be a really fucking fun fight. So, yeah, seems like they really front loaded these 2 cards with some strikers, but it should be fun. I'm excited for 325. I hope Volk wins. I'll be praying for his safety.
Even though I've said since I saw, ironically enough, Diego lose to Evloev, I was like, that kid's going to be a fucking champion. And what did he do? Just went on a tear and proved it. And, you know, this might be his time to do it because rarely do guys get 3 cracks at the title. Cool. Well, it looks like the prelims are no one that we're super aware of.
I mean, we're aware. I know these guys are, but it's like Justin Tafa, Torres, Finney. I don't see like an absolute killer on these prelims.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably are realizing like, oh, like most of the people are going to tune in for the main event because that's when people are getting home from dinner and shit now that they've moved the time back. Oh, what are the time of these?
I was about to say, I don't know. It's a good point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, okay. Well, I'll ask you one last question. If you roll back through, is there any kind of interesting betting that you're thinking about doing?
Oh yeah. I mean, Hooker's an underdog, and I can't think of it right now. Fiziev is an underdog. Yeah. And I feel like you could parlay those if you want. I'm not going to go crazy on that. I think another play would be maybe both those fights to go to decision because so many people think they're going to be finishes. That's probably good odds. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to look at the betting stuff yet.
I'm going to probably do just I might do 2 parlays. I might do 1 parlay of Hooker and Fiziev, and then I might do a parlay of fucking Tuivasa, Hooker, Fiziev, and Diego.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know, might as well try to hit 4.
Yeah. You could also do a knockout parlay. You could probably do BSD by knockout and Lopes by knockout.
Well, I don't think BSC is going to win.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But anyway, else?
No, that's it. That's
Cool.
it for me.
Right on. Well, guys, this has been another episode of Casual Academy's Modern Mondays. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, these fights are coming at you live on Paramount from beautiful Sydney, Australia. If you guys have not done so yet, please like and subscribe to the podcast. Remember, Casual Academy MMA, although this is the history in the making portion of the show for Modern Mondays, it is the only podcast that goes fight by fight through mixed martial arts history. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.